Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And this is the book that I'll be reading from, Unleashing Buddhanature, personal accounts of those touched and reformed through the teachings of His Eminence the 25th Sam Rinpoche. Today I'll be reading the account of Dato Peng. She was the president of Kechara House. So let's see a picture for you to see. There you go. Okay, the humble boss, Dato Peng, page 34. And this is a short write-up on Dato May. Dato Peng is the president of Kechara House, a member of the board of directors of the Kechara organization, and the chief executive officer of Kechara World Peace Center. She was also in the top brass of companies in various industries, including construction, automobile, manufacturing, property management, plantation, and clean room technologies. So now this is her account. Can square pegs fit into round holes? I believe they can. I know this because I was one such square peg. I was only 24 years old when I became the executive manager of a conglomerate. I was overseeing companies that were involved in diverse fields such as automobiles, construction, plantation, and so on. Being a middle-class girl who married into a family that runs the conglomerate, I knew next to nothing about these industries. On top of that, this was the 70s when female chiefs are not a norm. And there I was, a young lady calling the shots in a man's world. Being completely out of my element compelled me to work even harder on the job. I approached the experts in the fields, the architects and engineers, and I studied under them. I was driven to prove myself, and gradually I did. I climbed to the position of senior executive manager of the conglomerate, and my name commanded respect in the commercial world. At international events, even female leaders from other countries would ask me for the secret to my success. But there was no secret. I did not think that I was specially smart. I believed that everyone could do what I did, and I tried to guide them. I gave motivational speeches to women working in male-centric industries such as architecture or engineering, advising them to not be afraid even though they were in a man's world. Unfortunately, I saw that most of them still sold themselves short. They were held back by their fears of failure, of expanding their skills, of venturing into the unknown. This really made my blood boil. If I could make it, why couldn't they? I grew impatient, wondering why women could not or would not follow my tried and tested path to success. When I sold off many of my companies in 2005, I began training as a coach for an adult experiential program. It was then that I realized my vision, to help everyone live in excellence. Unfortunately, I also found that people were only inspired during the duration of the program. After that, the effects wear off. I began searching for other methods. Coincidentally, a friend of mine invited me to listen to a Dharma talk by a Tibetan High Lama, His Eminence the 25th Sam Rinpoche. Buddhism had always intrigued me, but I had never been able to understand its teachings very well due to the language barriers. So, when my friend mentioned that this Lama is fluent in English, I decided to give it a shot and attended the talk. Up until that point, I had always resisted religious organizations. They seemed to take a lot of rules. They seem to have a lot of rules of what can and cannot be done. So during the session, I asked Rinpoche, can I be spiritual without being religious? Rinpoche said, If you want to be a doctor, isn't it better to go to university to get qualified? So, if you wish to be spiritual, isn't it better to follow a religion that allows you to achieve your goals with methods that have been proven to be successful? That was the first time I felt the impact of Rinpoche's wisdom. In 2009, I joined the Kachara organization as part of the Ladrang office and was eventually elected as president of Kachara House. Since then, every day is a learning curve. My training under Rinpoche as his student was challenging, simply because I was a stickler for getting things done on my terms. I mean, in my head, I was thinking, come on, I have headed several companies successfully. Surely my way is the best way. My way had worked in the past, and I had every reason to stand by it. That didn't fly with Rinpoche. He would put me in charge of projects and halfway through remove me from leadership and put someone else in charge. There was nothing I could do but watch the new chief take a route that I normally wouldn't. It was a tough pill to swallow. I felt that my experiences were questioned and challenged. It would have been easy to throw a tantrum and just quit Kachara every time that happened. I didn't have to take these insults. But I remembered what Rinpoche said. Can you be a doctor without being schooled? Believing that these blows to my pride and ego were part of Rinpoche's spiritual training for me, I stayed on. It was from persevering through these painful ego-destroying trainings did my mind begin to transform. From a hardened chief who needed things done her way, I began to see that other people had their own solutions to achieve the same goal. The solutions worked not because they were right or wrong, but because they suited the person carrying them out. This was an incredible lesson for me, to be more accepting and tolerant when working with others. It was an experience that helped open my mind to other possibilities, which I would have never learned if I had not met my guru. I may not agree with other people's way, but mine is also not always right. After all, I'm pretty much an old bag. That's what Rinpoche fondly calls me, even on Facebook. I don't feel insulted though, as I know Rinpoche is not jeering at my looks or age, but it's a timely reminder that I'm no longer the sprightly youth that could take on the world on my own. I needed to start accepting help from others, something that I had always been too egoistical to do. Ultimately, Rinpoche is training me to let go of my pride. I was once a person who was certain that my way of getting things done was better than everyone else's. And he took me away from that projection by showing me that there are many paths to one destination. I thought the world of myself, and Rinpoche called me names, poked fun at me, and even ignored me during public events to remind me that I am just like everyone else. Rinpoche wants me to be detached from my achievements, my social and financial standing, and my reputation. He taught me that at the end of life, one is alone. I cannot bring along my material gains or the people around me, so practice being nothing now. Of course, my training under Rinpoche is only about 50% successful for now. On the surface, I can respect other people's way of doing things, but deep down, sometimes I'm still rolling my eyes. But at least I'm conscious of what I may not be doing right, and that is the first step to correcting it. Rinpoche never gives up on training us because he loves us. To be worthy of this love, I realized that I had to transform my mind, no matter how difficult it is. I was a stubborn square peg, but if I can become nothing, I will have no trouble fitting into the round hole. This, I believe, will be the biggest gift I can give to my guru, my practice, and my inner transformation. So that's Dato Peng. Rinpoche also calls her a dragon lady. And I do admire her because, for a person of her experience, she, you know, from her sharing, as you can see, Rinpoche would remove her from responsibilities, and then another chief would take over, and I'm sure that Dato' May would be very frustrated. Well, anyway, thank you for sharing your time with me, for joining me in my session. So the next one will be for another student. So do join me then. And now we end this with a completion dedication in English. May the precious body mind where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious emptiness, may it where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May this merit accumulated by myself and others beneficially serve all sentient beings and the Buddha Dhamma, and especially may the essential teachings of the unerring Master Tsongkhapa become clear and enduring. In all my rebirths, may I not be parted from perfect gurus. Let me enjoy the abundance of the Dharma, perfecting the quality stages and paths. May I quickly attain the rank of Vajradhara Buddha. By this virtue, may I quickly realize Guru Buddhahood and transfer each sentient being into that enlightened state. May all conducive conditions arise and all obstacles be pacified in order to increase infinitely the doctrine of the spiritual king Tsongkhapa. By the merits of the 3 times of myself and others, may the doctrine of Lama Tsongkhapa blaze forever. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessing. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the paths of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. May the holy teachers have long lives. May the enlightened activities be fully displayed in the 10 directions. And may the brightness of the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa continuously dissipate the veil of darkness covering the beings of the 3 realms. In this land encircled by snow mountains, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in this life until samsara's end. Whom grant me here and now appropriate attainments without exception. Grant increase of the entourage, teachings, and wealth, O mighty Shukden. See you for my next sharing. And don't miss out on what the students share of Rinpoche. Thank you.